Senior Living on Location is produced by Senior Living Media, celebrating seniors in our community.
Ever wonder what happens to retired pilots? Well, Senior Living on Location found out. They end up in a museum. But not to fret, they're all alive and well and continuing their interest in the world of aviation. To be exact, you can find these ex-pilots and engineers at the BC Aviation Museum on Vancouver Island. The museum is dedicated to preserving aircraft and relics of importance to Canadian and British Columbian aviation history. The center collects, restores, and displays artifacts and is a known tourist destination for aviation buffs coming to the island.
I retired from Air Canada's pilot on the A340 in 2007. And we had, this airplane had been sitting outside at the museum for 3 years at that time and kind of going nowhere. And so we were essentially drafted, a group of us, to start working on it. And we were laughed at, and why are you doing this? Because when we started this restoration, it was a bit like eating an elephant, and it would just, how do you start?
The museum is operated by a group of dedicated volunteers, many of whom are seniors. Volunteers are actively involved in aircraft restoration, construction, engine displays, modeling aircraft, maintaining artifacts, and creating memorials to significant figures in the world of aviation.
This is a Vickers Viscount, first introduced by Trans-Canada Airlines in 1955, January. It was the first turboprop jet-powered transport in North America, first one to fly the Atlantic. And this is about mid-range. TCA had 51 airplanes. This is about halfway through this series. It's configured the way it would have been in 1956, which is in 40 seats. The seat pitch, which is the distance between the back of the seat and the seat in front of it, is 39.5 inches. For all seats, that is the same as executive class would be today. So if you look at this airplane, it's basically a Dash 8, but better. Well, there's a number of changes over the years. Some would call them improvements. I wouldn't. But up here, you notice there's no doors because people didn't have carry-on luggage. They had hats and coats. But the coats actually were hung up in the back. And as you came on, you put them in the seats. The windows, now, the windows are huge compared to today. And this airplane still flew at 25,000 feet. It was a pressurized airplane. But it's the shape of the window that gives it the strength. And there's a great long formula as to why it was designed this way. But it gave a view that nothing has today.
Some volunteers have expertise or past experience in the aviation industry, while others are newcomers but still maintain a strong interest in aircraft.
I love being around airplanes. You know, when I retired from the military, I stayed in the commercial aviation world, flying in the commercial aviation world, and then I moved here from Calgary to manage a private jet. And I visited the Air Museum here and was so impressed with the people and what's going on here, I decided that when I retire, I want to be a part of this because it's become a passion with me. Been around airplanes all my life in Europe and in North America and Canada. And when I came here and saw what the guys were doing, I said, you know what, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this team. And it's a great bunch of guys. There is so much work that goes on behind the scenes here, you know, that makes it an amazing place to come to.
This small group of senior volunteers is in the process of restoring a number of different aircraft. One project the group is currently working on is the restoration of a plane that was owned by the BC government in the 60s and used in flying Phil Ghilardi. Flying Phil, also known as Sorry Phil, was a politician and best known for his service as Minister of Highways from 1955 to 1968. But that's another story in itself. What makes this place a success with visitors and volunteers alike is an enthusiasm for aircraft and its history. And for those who are lucky enough to enjoy a career in aviation, they can continue their passion here after retirement.
I was a pilot, and pilots don't know anything about how airplanes are built, really. They know how to fly them, and my interest was in aviation, and this is a great place for it.
What could be more exhilarating for a bunch of older guys than to get together, reminisce, pull out the power tools, and get their hands dirty and enjoy their favorite pastime, working on a plane? Some aviation enthusiasts who don't have the luxury of coming here to work on a plane can purchase kits. But Bob here has some advice for these handymen.
It's called a Miranda. It is an airplane that you build from a set of plans. You buy the set of plans and put it together yourself. They call it a home built. You can build it in your garage, just make sure you can get it out when you got it finished. But that's happened before. People have built airplanes in their basement and never got them out.
So there you have it. Make sure you have large doors. Here's a group of seniors with a passion for aviation history that meets weekly to work on the restoration of aircraft. Some are using knowledge and skills from the past. Some are learning new skills. Who knew that senior volunteers could be of such value to aviation history?